Welcome to part 2. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to clear an area that I'm not at the risk of burning something, because this entire stove is going to get very hot. Watch where you place it. Now, I can take this here, clean an area, and set that down. Make sure it has a solid base, like all stoves. And now I can start my fire in that stove. But I always have to remember that stove is going to get very hot, and watch where you place it. So I was able to find a rock that I could put this on. It's fairly stable here. It rocks slightly, but I'll just watch how I put my pot on and off. You don't always get ideal. Right now I can't dig down and because everything's frozen. So this here, I just peeled back the moss and I can just flap it back over when I'm done. That's going to work. So how I normally fill my stoves is I'll start breaking up the bigger pieces up to about thumb size and place them in the bottom. Now, you can do this many ways. This is how I do it, and it seems to always work for me. Now, you want to stagger them as well, because you want to be able to add some airflow. Now, this is a little bit damp. It's been raining, snowing. Ugh, a little tough. So I'm just going to fill this up and put some of these finger size right now in it. A little bit of these smaller pencil size in there as well, just to fill it in. I'm going to build that up to about half full. It's just about half full there now. That's what it looks like. Now you can take this top off for making it easier to fill. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding some birch bark to it. And then what I'm going to do is throw on some more twigs. The twigs I'm putting on now be about pencil size and smaller, because this here is basically my kindling. Throw this back on. And what I'll do is basically fill it now. And then she's ready to light. So there's many ways you can light these. Sometimes I'll use fire starters that you buy, like this one here, just because it is a long burn and it's also a long match. I can reach down in there. Now this here is just fire sticks, but there's many different options. I've used my resin match, used it many times to light them. But, well, that one just went out. So, next. That's what happens when you don't shield your match. There we go. Now it's lit. I'm just going to keep adding a few more twigs until it gets going well, and then it's ready for some cooking. You can see that wood gas effect, and you can also see how clean it's burning. It didn't take no time for that to heat up and start burning the way it's supposed to. Now these small twigs, they will burn up fast, but by filling your stove first, it can help with giving you a little bit of time to prepare your meal and so on. I'm just going to throw in a few more of these just so I know I have time. But now I'm able to get my meal ready. Now what I brought out here is 1 cup of long grain rice, parboiled, and I also have 2 cups of water in here. So usually that's how this one is cooked. You take 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. Now this is pre-measured. I'm going to set this on there like that. I've got the 1 cup of rice in here. I'm going to dump that in. Now, just going to give it a stir. And put my lid on. There we go. Now all I have to do is keep feeding that fire. That's the good thing about these type of stoves. You can also regulate the temperatures by letting them burn down some or keep feeding continuously. That is super quick. It's just above freezing right now, +2 Celsius. And wow, it's only been a couple minutes and it's basically a boil. So normally what I'll do for cooking rice out here is I'll put it in the pot and I'll just let it go. I put it in cold water because this here, you cook it almost backwards compared to a lot of ways it's cooked at home. This here, you put it in the cold water, and as this slowly heats up, it rehydrates the rice. And you cook it until basically the water's gone and it's done. It's very simple. Once it starts boiling, you just let it keep boiling until basically all the water's gone. You don't want to overcook it or overboil it because then you're going to burn it, but you got to keep your eye on it. And I'll show you how I keep my eyes on it and show you when I know it's pretty much done. And I'll just keep checking that, and I'm watching for the water to boil off. Let me take a look at that. If I can put that, there you go. You see those holes? That is how I know the water is boiling down. Those holes right there tell you that you're getting low on water. Now I'll keep an eye on this, very close eye, because I don't want that to boil dry. And you can see those holes there. I'm going to take this off now so I don't boil it dry, but you can see those holes are pretty pronounced now. there it is. That's those holes I was telling you about. And if you let it go too much, it will burn. There's a little bit of water left, but it's going to make some good eating. There it is right there. And cooked to perfection for me. It's not overcooked and it's not undercooked. Now, that 1 cup made a lot of rice. Now I've got a couple packages of soy sauce I'm going to add to this. But what's good about rice is that you can put wild game meat in here. You can bring other additives to bring in and cook up and such. It's just a very good base of a meal. Or with a little bit of soy sauce, like I'm going to add, I can eat it as is. So I wanted to share that stove, and I also wanted to share how I fill my twig stoves, because the way I filled that, that's the way I fill all my twig stoves. I fill them up, light them, and then let it burn down through and just add sticks as needed. Now I put the large on the bottom and then go smaller and smaller towards the top. The large one, when it burns down to those, that will act as a coal base. And so using that, the wood gas or just a normal twig stove, it's all the same for me. That's how I do it. It works for me. There's many ways to do it. I also wanted to show you how I cook rice out here, what I look for, and how I do it. But if you want to check out that stove, you can go to part 1. It will have the link in the description there, and you can check that out, check out the specs and such. So I want to thank you for watching. Take care, and what a lovely way to spend the afternoon and a dinner in the bush.